the end of Battlefield 3. We're here diving into the final days of the Battlefield 3 console servers. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. So I did this sort of thing for the end of Battlefield 1943, the end of Battlefield Bad Company 1, and Bad Company 2. Want any nostalgia from those videos, I recommend taking a look at them. And here, as of November 7th, 2024, the servers for Battlefield 3 go dark on the console side of things, the 360, the PlayStation 3. We're here on the Series X taking a look at it through backwards compatibility, so like, you'll still technically be able to play it via a disc in the future because it's all delisted now. You can't buy it anymore. And that'll only be the campaign because the multiplayer will be gone. And a lot of this game's identity was really the multiplayer, so with that being removed, I doubt we'll spend much time revisiting this one because it'll just be the campaign, but all the same, it's still nice to kind of jump in and say goodbye to this game. And like with Bad Company and, well, the Bad Companies and also 1943, there are other games going down too, Battlefield 4 and Hardline, but for the 360 and the PS3, which is fine because those ones have, you know, current, well, last-gen iterations that make them still playable. But still, it is a little sad considering this one, you know, basically no remastering, no way to really experience this in the modern era. I guess PC, for as long as that kind of keeps on kicking, I suppose you can go in that direction. But from a console perspective, it's a little disappointing, especially since Xbox did have, you know, decently lively servers. You could on most nights get like full lobbies and stuff like that, so it is a little bit of a disappointment to see that this game is kind of going out in this way. It's a little bit of a bummer. We did like a big goodbye stream, and it was kind of nice to reminisce about this one and, you know, the thoughts of playing like Rush or Conquest and, you know, the classic levels and maps. I'm sure someday we'll see these maps return. Most of them already have in various entries in the franchise, right? Like, there are definitely levels that are very iconic, very, very well loved, and something that a lot of people have enjoyed. Did I not kill two people there? A little surprised that I didn't. But yeah, it was kind of nice to go in and just play and enjoy and work through this. Can I join like a squad? Like, why am I not in a squad? So those two guys, they're just like not in a squad, and I'm in a squad by myself. Great. It's also kind of funny because we were literally, before we called it a day on doing a stream of this, we had like a full lobby going on, which is kind of funny that, you know, you wait a little bit to record, and, well, that's kind of the thing, right? As nights go on, like, people come and they go, and that's just kind of the experience with this one. I guess a little fun reference thing to note is if you look at the top and the bottom of the screen, there's like a thin black line. That was a very common thing that EA did during the generation in order to keep up performance, and I always thought it was kind of funny because most people sort of like blank it out, but to me it's always rather noticeable. And I thought it was like a screen kind of thing where I didn't sync up the screen size properly, but nope, that's just it. It is weird, though, to close this one. Because it's still, to me, like, I would think that it was still bringing some level of value to people, like to EA and stuff, because people are still playing it. It's something that really, I think, could have lived on for a while in terms of being a game that people would be playing. And really, so there's like one squad of 4, and then I'm by myself here. It's driving me crazy because there's no one to spawn off of, which makes this like nigh impossible for me to do. Oh, I have a teammate now. Should I switch sides? Like, I could switch to the other team. They're actually doing better. More frenzied combat. I like attacking, and I like jumping off of the big ledge on this map, but, you know, I don't really have a team that's dedicated to getting this position done. Anyways, Battlefield 3 was a pretty big, like, bump up for visuals and technology. It was one of the, at the time, it was like one of the ones that was supposed to go head to head with Call of Duty and stuff like that. And I remember playing the beta for this on PC and kind of being blown away by the visuals. And I did always think this game had a bit of a plasticky look for buildings and stuff, but you know, visually, for a game of its era, it's not too bad looking. Definitely has like a bit of that, you know, 360 era color palette and stuff, but you know, trees that can get destroyed, buildings that can get shredded a bit. You know, the maps, they have a sense of destruction and progression to them in terms of things getting like blasted around or walls getting destroyed or some buildings getting damaged. And over the course of the match, you see that kind of being played, traditional class setup, and yeah, it really was just kind of a expansive Battlefield offering, I'd say. Like, it offered a lot of vehicle options. I think really memorable maps, though. I think that will be one of the big defining things for how I kind of think of this game, outside of, you know, playing it with pals and stuff, is considering the maps in this game that were pretty iconic and well liked. These guys just sitting back here not doing anything? You got a Humvee, but you're not really driving it or anything like that? Wait, the guy's just sitting on a turret? Oh, come on! Did I get blown up by the chopper? Upon reflection, a lot of these rush matches are pretty, like, lopsided. Just putting it out there. And it's funny because it'd be like, oh, we'll join another lobby, but this is the only lobby we have available. Just kind of hilarious. I don't think we're going to get this rush position. I don't think I'm going to be able to climb over that wall. Well, at least there's 3 of us on the team now. That's good. But we're literally getting pushed back, and now there's a chopper that's going to be preying upon us. I was really hoping I'd get that opportunity to finally get that achievement for trying to get a kill in a jet, a kill in a tank, and a kill on foot in one life. Never get that, because it's just the end anyway, so I'm not going to be able to ever get it. This is a bit of a disappointment, but, you know, that's life. I was pretty close on a previous stream. So until somebody knifed me in the back because I couldn't get an infantry kill, but yeah, I suppose that's just how things go. You know, you think you're going to get something, and you never do, and probably should have tried to grind this a bit more multiplayer-wise for some more achievements, but yeah, I guess just some stuff you're not meant to unlock, I suppose. It's just kind of sad that I never will be able to unlock that kind of stuff. It was very smart taking that wall out, and grenaded, great. Excellent. Love how that's happening. I will say, this did have a really neat sense of being modern in warfare. Like, the bad companies that came before this, they were really great games. I think kind of the peak of the Battlefield series for me. I love those titles. You know, just this, like, complete package. Very good games. Excellent destruction. This one, kind of jumping into that sort of terrain and styling of, like, a bit more of what COD was doing with that modern perspective, and then, you know, obviously we got Battlefield 4 after this, and pretty well a fairly beloved era of Battlefield action. And it's just interesting to be in here, and it's like, oh, the big modern combat, and, you know, the locations for the conflicts too, the different map war scenarios where there's all this like fire and stuff going on in the backdrops, really cool, like Tehran Highway, it's like big explosions and stuff. Like, you really felt like you were in the middle of big, intense, like, urban warfare. And that was exciting. It really was, yeah. It's just sort of sad almost to be just fabling the end of something, because it's, you know, what, 13 years or whatever? That's a good run. A lot of games don't get that. It is a bit weird, too, that we don't see, like, remasters for Battlefield stuff, and I don't know, maybe a lot of people don't even really know that it's all kind of vanishing until they go to play it, and they're like, oh, it's gone, but, you know, for something that was bringing value, I think, to, like, EA Play and then Game Pass Ultimate from there on, you know, it does seem a bit odd to, like, swing the axe on this one, because it does seem something that would be good longevity, but I suppose really what is the point of keeping some of this stuff going forever, I guess, you know, diminishing players every year in terms of player counts and, you know, time kind of passing it by. It is just a legacy thing, and I guess the campaign isn't necessarily anything too special. I know some people really defend the campaign. It's got some cool missions, but yeah. And then I think there's like, what, the co-op stuff too, with that all being gone. Yeah. It was a little sad. At least you kind of remember the memories of it, I suppose. The ridiculous amount of lens flares, your screen getting super blurry from all the shots going towards you. One of my favorites was the moment where they had the ridiculous flashlights, where everyone was using the flashlights because you could blind people like 20 feet away with your flashlights. Everyone was doing that until they patched it. And it was utterly ridiculous. Probably the stupidest moment in this game, actually, was probably the flashlights, but kind of also funny. One of the defining kind of like moments. Kind of like in COD, how they had the care package glitch was a big thing, but yeah, it's a neat legacy title. It really is. We got some really, really cool maps out of this, and it's just a little sad that they're going to be going away, essentially. I know they've been brought back in various battlefields. I would say if they do ever do remasters, this one probably is a decent candidate for it. I still think it would look pretty good. You know, I mentioned the plasticky look, but still probably would look pretty visually good with a bit of a resolution bump up. It would look really clean and sharp, and yeah, really intense action. I think that could work. Got smoke there. These guys on the other team, yeah, they just been smoking us. Next match. I will say getting a team deathmatch is a bit of a weird situation for this game, considering I don't really think of Battlefield as a team deathmatch kind of game, but I guess that's what we sort of got here. To me, that always defeated the purpose of Battlefield, which was large-scale vehicular warfare with some infantry side stuff going on, but I guess this one did have a focus on like the Noshar canals and the Sian River and stuff like that. Those maps were kind of a little tighter focused. This game too, the DLC, I never even got to play all the DLC. I thought I had premium, but I guess I didn't or whatever, and yeah, I wasn't able to play all the DLC packs and stuff. So I never really even experienced the full scope of this, I guess. In a funny sort of way. Bit of a laugh too, as we were trying to, you know, do a stream of, like, we were streaming this to say goodbye to it and stuff, and then like couldn't even play with the large lobby out there because, well, basically they were playing a specific DLC and, you know, maps and stuff I didn't have access to, and that was kind of funny. Because you're sitting there like desperately trying to get a match while you're streaming, and you're like, well, we got to play something else for a bit until, you know, we get lucky and another lobby or something pops up. So that was a fun memory, I would say, playing with pal Kevin there to say goodbye to this one, and always remember the jets soaring over being a pain, and yeah, kind of moments playing with various people, I would say, doing multiplayer matches and that. I did play more, I would say, the Bad Companies and stuff for sure, but I do remember this one being quite a big deal at the time, which is interesting, and I think there's still really great love and longevity that people have for this one, which is why it's kind of neat to be here, like, saying goodbye to it. And I guess it's, to a degree, a part of it that's being said goodbye to, but I do think console identity-wise, this was a pretty big console-played kind of game, and yeah, it's just kind of bizarre. You remember when something comes out, and you play it and you enjoy it when it's out, and then you don't really think about it And you move on, you play other stuff, and maybe you revisit it. You revisit it less and less, and then you get to a point where it's gone, and probably a lot of people didn't even know it was going away or anything, or they didn't even think about it. And I sit here to do a video talking about it being dead, or dying. At the point of death, probably when this comes out, but... yeah, it's just a really morbid but fascinating thing, but not really anything you can do about it. You just accept it, kind of go, oh, okay, interesting. And then you go on. And then Battlefield continues, hopefully with better stuff on the horizon. And yeah, it's just kind of funny though, like all this legacy stuff for Battlefield, especially on the console, is just completely vanishing. Silly me always trying to save lives. Always gets me killed. I do think this really streamlined and set Battlefield up for some neat things. But yeah, it's strange. Like so many of the legacy Battlefields, just especially on the console side of things, all going to be gone. I think this basically caps off any sort of Battlefield on the, you know, the 360, the PS3. This whole swath here is just the end of it. It'll be really interesting and kind of disappointing when Battlefield 4 kind of someday maybe gets a similar treat. Well, we'll eventually someday get this kind of treatment too. Because they've been really just swinging the axe. I think it was like about a year ago. To the point of doing this video or something like that. Or however many months since said goodbye to like the bad companies and that. And then to be doing this one is interesting. It's actually almost a bit of a shame I don't have the Battlefield 3 on, like Battlefield 4 and Hardline on 360. Those games would have been kind of neat cross-gen games to revisit and see how rough they look before they kind of gave those ones the axe. That was a big generational bump up actually, was like buying Battlefield 3 or Battlefield 4 on the 360 and then, you know, doing the upgrade thing for $10 to get the Xbox One edition of it or whatever. That was always exciting. And always rather fascinating. At least I bought this digitally too. I made the big mistake with Bad Company 1? I think it was Bad Company 1 or 2. I didn't buy it digitally and I'll forever hate that I didn't do that. I mean, I have a disc of it, but like I have the discs for the Bad Company games, but to own them digitally would have been great. It's almost like they should give you a bit of a reminder on like a present-gen console if it's like, hey, this game's going away forever. You should probably buy it before it's gone. Because all the stuff's still listed now, so it's like if I wanted to do any DLC, I couldn't if I wanted to. And they just kind of sneak it up on you. They don't really give you a warning. It's just kind of like, hopefully you bought it before it's gone. Because it's still, you know, the campaign and stuff. You could still play, theoretically, forever if you wanted to. What's going on with the wall here, eh? Absolutely destroyed. Anyways, I enjoy these videos. Not in the sense that it's, like, joy to get rid of something or say goodbye to it, but just they're kind of fun, nostalgic little pieces that I think sort of sit well for people that, like, have memories of certain games, and then sit there and be like, well, it's not available anymore, and then you can just kind of take a look at that and say goodbye to it, and have little memories of it. I don't think Team Deathmatch on this map is kind of the best way to showcase it, really, but, you know, does the gameplay in action, does the combat moving around, and, yeah, kind of a fascinating way to be an entry point for this game, because this is probably the last I've ever played on it. And I don't think I ever actually played Team Deathmatch on this map ever in my entire history of playing Battlefield 3, because to me, Deathmatch is kind of a not Battlefield game mode, but sure, lots of people enjoy doing this stuff over the years, otherwise it wouldn't be in rotation, right? So I guess at that point, always cool to hear memories and thoughts that you might have had playing Battlefield 3. Always fun to have a little discussion and chat about the good old enlisted days of the battlefield. And, you know, if you want nostalgia for Bad Company 1, 2, or 1943, those are on the channel too.